Scott Packard, the Chairman and CEO of Wright Tree Service.
And I'm Will Nutter, President and Chief Operating Officer.
Above all else, our company's priority is safety. No matter your role, safety should be your focus at all times.
This means making a commitment to be a brothers and sisters keeper and following the training provided to you. If you do this, all injuries are preventable. We'd like to welcome some of the leaders from our Minn Kota Division and Safety Department, who will be kicking off this training on drop zone safety awareness.
There are three main hazards that you'll encounter on the job site. They are contact with power lines and other energized conductors, falling while climbing or working on the ground, and falling trees and branches.
In this video, we will review proper procedure for pruning limbs and felling trees, two tasks that require constant awareness of safety in the drop zone. Pruning and felling requires different preparation and processes. However, from the smallest limb to the largest tree, if you fail to follow drop zone and other safety procedures, the results could be catastrophic.
Your main takeaways from this video should be: the planning stage is extremely important. You must control the limb or tree as much as possible throughout the process, all the way to the ground. And good communication and being brothers and sisters keepers are key to eliminating incidents.
Stay safe. Be your brothers and sisters keeper.
The first step on any job site is to complete a job briefing. The job briefing consists of an emergency action plan should anything go wrong, identification of various hazards, special precautions, planning requirements, and equipment inspection. You must communicate the plan with everyone on your team. Before any work begins, ensure that the command response system is in place to maintain two-way communication throughout the process. All crew members must sign the job briefing before moving forward. A job briefing must be completed each time the job changes. Also, always review minimum approach distance. It's your responsibility as a brothers and sisters keeper to communicate with your crew members or contact your general foreman before starting the job if you're unsure that the work can be completed safely. It is also your responsibility to do this if a hazard develops, or if you become aware of a hazard that was unknown during the job briefing once the work has begun.
Stay safe.
There are 4 steps to follow when pruning limbs. First, make sure there is a clear path for the limb to reach the ground. Identify the drop zone and caution area and ensure that they are clear. The drop zone is the area where the limb is intended to fall. Think of the drop zone as a 3-dimensional cylinder. For a pruning operation, the minimum caution area is 6 feet outside the drip line of the tree in a 360-degree perimeter. If you would like more information, refer to the drop zone safety policy in the foreman's manual. The second step is to anticipate what could go wrong.
The third step is to prune the limbs in small pieces, again using the command and response system.
Stand clear. All clear.
This enables better control of the limb and reduces the risk of the limb bouncing out of the drop zone or caution area. It also reduces the risk of causing an outage, which could result in electrocution. The fourth step is to consider using a rope for control. Use 2 ropes if necessary. Reference your training and choose the roping method that is most appropriate. Some examples of roping methods include 2 ropes, tip tie, and butt hitch. Make sure you control the limb all the way to the ground.
Stay safe.
There are 5 steps to follow when felling trees. The first step is to identify hazards and height. It is important to do a visual tree assessment. Trees in different states of health behave very differently. Look for defects, decay, and lean. Measure the tree and identify the drop zone and caution area. The minimum drop zone is twice the height of the tree in a 360-degree perimeter. Again, think of it as a three-dimensional cylinder. If you would like more information, refer to the drop zone safety policy in the foreman's manual. Look for hazards in the drop zone and caution area. Some examples of hazards include electrical conductors, buildings, outdoor furnishings, and any other object that could become a projectile or become damaged upon impact. The most important potential hazards in the drop zone and caution area are your coworkers or members of the public and any power lines. Remove these hazards from the job site or plan to avoid them. The second step is to determine the lean of the tree. Decide the felling direction and where the employee who is making the final cut will stand. Then, choose the appropriate equipment for the job. The third step is to establish an escape plan. The escape route for the employee operating the chainsaw should be a 45-degree angle opposite the felling direction. The crew leader should assess the number of workers necessary for tree removal and the number of employees allowed inside the drop zone. One employee operates the chainsaw, and the other employee or employees hold the rope and are always 1.5 times the height of the tree away. All others need to be outside of the drop zone. The fourth step is a hinge plan. First, plan the angle, depth, and placement of the notch. Wright Tree Services' preferred notch is the open-faced notch. An open-faced notch is cut at a 70 to 90 degree angle, with the depth not exceeding 1/3 of the tree and the width not exceeding 80% of the tree's width. The apex is the point where the top cut and the bottom cut of the notch meet. After you plan the notch, plan the thickness of the hinge. The hinge should be at least 10% of the diameter of the tree and the same width all the way through. The hinge is the uncut wood between the apex and back cut. The fifth and final step is to plan and execute the back cut. The back cut should be parallel to the apex. A correct notch and back cut will create the proper hinge, which will help control the tree's fall all the way to the ground. An incorrect notch and/or back cut can lead to personal injury or property damage and is typically severe. If the notch isn't cut at a wide enough angle, the tree could snap off of the stump before reaching the ground. The open face notch is more predictable than the conventional 45-degree notch. When an open face notch is used, the hinge remains intact as the tree falls to the ground. When a conventional notch is used, the hinge tends to break before the tree has landed on the ground, leaving it to free fall. This sometimes results in a tree landing differently than intended. If the notch is too deep, the tree may not fall in the intended direction or fall earlier than planned. If the back cut is too deep, it will remove the hinge and therefore the control.
Be your brothers
and sisters
keeper.
There are several main causes of incidents during pruning and felling. In no particular order, they include the drop zone is not clear, an employee went into the drop zone, an item propels or bounces into an employee, poor communication, and an incorrect notch or back cut.
To review, your main takeaways from this video should be: the planning stage is extremely important. You must control the limb or tree as much as possible throughout the process, all the way to the ground. And good communication and being brothers and sisters keepers are key to eliminating incidents.
Thank you for your time and attention. Remember, at Wright Tree Service, safety is always our highest priority.
Stay safe!